Welcome to the San Jose Buddhist Temple, OBON at Home. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Reverend Gerald Sakamoto, the Chief Minister here at the Betsuin, and we also are ably assisted by Reverend Etsuko Mikame, who arrived here last August, so it's been less than a year that she's been here with us. In the past 5 months, we've been in a quarantine, stay in place, shelter in place order. And this OBON at Home has been planned and so that we could still enjoy our OBON together, but it's certainly quite different from what we have experienced in the past. If you please join us in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. I'm Dennis Akizuki, one of your hosts for today. Like every other festival in the state since late March, our OBON Festival and Bazaar was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. But we're determined to observe the festival in some way, which led to OBON at Home. OBON is an important religious and cultural activity for the temple, Japantown, and the wider community. As many of you know, during World War II, the Japanese Americans were forcibly and unjustly removed from their homes, farms, and businesses and placed in camps surrounded by barbed wire with towers and armed soldiers. Despite that upheaval, there was obonodori, or obon dancing, in camp. Our parents and grandparents observed OBON behind barbed wire, so we can do nothing less than observe it during the coronavirus pandemic. We honor the resilience and perseverance of those Issei and Nisei, first and second generation Japanese Americans, and we dedicate OBON at Home to their memory. We'll start the day with a real treat, a special welcome featuring San Jose Taiko. Here's the Irashai procession.
I don't know how.
These are ads. We're actually doing an appreciation to our donors, Santo Market, Gordon Biersch. They donate to us. So we decided we were going to honor and thank all of the donors. So we're giving them these spots during the live stream. We appreciate them very much.
Santo Market, an institution here in Japantown. They're supplying all of our lunch today. Take a look. I donated what I normally spend on food and games to the OBON this year. Udon would be, or now it's ramen right there, right? That's where my family, for 35 years, I think they did it. So in addition to all the families, right, you have all the organizations running their own booth.
This is one of the games we have for kids. This is an original for San Jose OBON. It's made by Temple member Mike Mori. So he made this game Plink, he calls it. It's kind of like pachinko. And you...
Should we do it?
Yeah, do it.
Let's see. I know my kids love this game, so Tanner and Kellen, I know you wanted to play this game. I'm sorry. Let's see how good I am. Oh, just missed it. And I still lost. I think we're going to go out to chalk art, is that right? With Reverend Mikame now?
Going well. So we have someone dancing with the kachi-kachi, with the towel, the tenugui. Okay. Obviously we have dances with hands.
Hi. It's going great. It's getting a lot done. Yeah.
Hi, here's your sister. Thank you. Bye. See you later.
Bye. See you later. Let's go. Chocolate side. Thank you.
Bye, sister.
The San Jose Buddhist Church Betsuin,
San Jose Buddhist Church
as Jodo
Betsuin,
Shinshu
as
Buddhists,
Jodo Buddhist,
stands with Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. We rise to join the voices condemning the unjustified death of the noble.
George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Rayshard Brooks, the unknown and the forgotten.
We are mindful of lives lost, past and present, in order to prevent future tragedies.
We commit to work toward eliminating all forms of systemic racial injustice locally, nationally, and globally.
We work with a deep hope that together we can become a compassionate community that values the life we share and the humanity of each individual. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
I'm so nervous.
What is Jodo Shinshu? Is that okay?
No. What is Betsuin?
Okay, you guys are wrong.
Okay, so this is our Q&A time, question and answer. One of the questions is, why is this called a church? There was a time when we tried to decide as an organization whether to call ourselves temples or churches, and there was a minister, Fujimoto Fujikawa, but he looked up the meaning of the words, the roots of the meaning of the word temple and of church. And it seemed like church actually fits our organization better. Of course, it's a translation of a word that was used to describe these religious places in Japan. And before that, it came from Korea and China. And so whatever we call it, whether it's church or temple, the name certainly is important, but we give meaning to the name. We give importance to what we call the organization. It is a place in which we learn about the teachings of the Buddha and share what we learn with one another, not just within the Sangha, but with all beings, to be able to share in our community. So that's question number one. Now, Mikami Sensei.
Okay, it's my turn. So the next question is, when was SJ Betsuin formed? I think it was 1902?
Yes.
Yeah. The Buddhist Church of San Francisco was the headquarters in America. And then one of the ministers came to San Jose and to conduct the service. And then since then, we become like a Buddhist temple in San Jose as a branch temple. Yeah, so it's about 120 years old. Yeah, it's really old temple.
Yeah, we didn't start out as a Betsuin. A special designation. Not all temples are Betsuin. There are 5 Betsuins in the Buddhist churches of America. In Japan, is thought of as a temple of a family of the Honganji. And the head of our organization, our world organization, is called the Gomonshu. The Betsuin in Japan is a branch temple of the Gomonshu. And so the Rinban, I'm the Rinban here at the Betsuin. My title means caretaker of the bell.
Yes.
Yeah. so as a caretaker of the bell, I sit in the Gomonshu's place. I keep his seat warm while he's not here. So a Betsuin will actually have a special room set aside for when the Gomonshu comes to visit. So it's a special, important designation. There's great responsibility that the Betsuin holds, and we certainly try to take care as best as possible the trust that has been placed in this temple.
So you answered what is a Betsuin, so for me. So thank
wait.
you. Okay. So okay. How do you become a minister? So that's a good question. I can answer this question. So I was born and raised in temple family in Shimane, Japan. And originally, my temple managed the temple in Shimane, small village. And then I was a grandmother's daughter. So this grandmother's favorite daughter. So she inspired me a lot to, how can I say, take care of the Buddha and involved with sutra chantings every morning. So yeah, she inspired me a lot to become a minister. After graduating from university, I decided to become a minister, and I enrolled in a Buddhist seminary in Kyoto, and I studied a lot about sutra chanting and Buddhist manners, rituals. Yeah, it was really strict training to become a minister. After joining the ritual, I was officially named, ordained. And then now I became a minister. Yeah.
So there is a different designation for ministers in Japan. And one of the special designations or titles that is given to ministers who qualify, who train and qualify, is Fukyoshi. And Fukyoshi is a minister who is able to speak not only at that minister's temple, the family temple or the temple that minister is assigned to. That minister who is a Fukyoshi is able to speak at other temples. So you can speak outside of the jurisdiction in which you are assigned or belong to. And Mikami Sensei is a Fukyoshi. So she has studied and is certified by the Honranji to speak outside of her own family temple, the jurisdiction that that temple belongs to. So we're fortunate to have Mikami Sensei here at the Betsuin. One question that I have, does Jodo Shinshu have soul? So in Buddhism as a whole, the idea of soul is something that is not directly spoken about, in the sense that it's not yes or no, because we know about like the Dalai Lama, right? So what is it that transmigrates from one life to the next life to the next life? Is that a soul? Shakyamuni Buddha says there is no soul, Atman. And yet we know that something goes from one thing to the next thing. When you touch something, it moves. Something is transferred. It's not something that's personal, a personal identity that transmigrates. What transmigrates is this energy or the causes and conditions that life generates. In Buddhism, the understanding is there is no Atman, Atman, no personal identity that transmigrates from one life to another. But we know, things like, for instance, if you take a glass, you scoop out a glass of water from a bucket, you have a glass of water that is unique, identifiable, measurable, but if you pour it back into that water again, the bucket of water, and try to scoop it out again, you're not going to have the same glass of water. It may look identical, it may even weigh the same, but you're not going to have the same identical glass of water. There is constancy, there is continuity, but that identity that we were continues to change. One way to think of it might be, ask yourself, what happened to the baby that you once were? Ooh. Where did that baby go? The baby didn't just disappear, right? The baby didn't kind of go up into the ether, right? There is continuity, and yet it's different. It's not the same. So one way to think about how to answer the question of continuity over time is to think about what happened to the baby that you once were. But I always felt that as a Buddhist, because I have no soul, no matter how hard I try, I just can't play the blues. I'm sorry, but I do try. Okay, so next question.
Next question.
Okay.
Okay. Are there a lot of female ministers? Okay, I can answer this question too. Okay. Yes. I think the number of the female ministers increasing, especially in Japan. I think, and also in America too. So I saw many I have met many female minister also in America. The first female minister I met was Taiwanese Buddhist minister. So she inspired me a lot too. So yeah. And before coming to America, actually, I worked at the Buddhist seminary for a while, for 3 years, and as a teacher. So at that time, I met many female students who wanna become a minister. So regardless of like if how can I say, regardless they are they belong to the temple family or not, many people are really interested in the Buddhism. So and then they came to study the school, and yeah, so they're really energetic and really cheerful. So yeah. I think not only the male ministers, but also the female minister now have many chances to involve with the Buddhist events, the services or funerals. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mikami Sensei is our first, no, she's not really, actually not the first woman minister here at the Betsuin. She's the second. Reverend Carol Kimaka, some of you may remember, was here, served at the San Jose Betsuin. Over the years, there have been a few ministers, women ministers that have been a part of BCA, but we're seeing more and more women begin to serve. A question, okay. What is the practice of Jodo Shinshu? This is an important question. Most Buddhist traditions have some practice, something that you have to do. If there is a practice in Jodo Shinshu, it's a practice of gratitude. The gratitude that we express and the gratitude that we experience is not for things that we receive. Certainly we acknowledge that, and that's important to us. But the gratitude that we practice, that we live our lives with, is the gratitude for the assurance of the Buddha Amida that provides for the enlightenment of all beings. That regardless of what I may or may not accomplish in my life, regardless of what I may or may not have done in my life, the things that I may be unable to speak of, but in all of that, I am assured of eventual resolution of difficulties. Knowing that I live my life with gratitude, not a sense of, oh, I can do anything I want. There is a quote in the letters of Shinran who has have a problem, antinomianism, a problem in his time, where people would do things to prove that they had trust in the vow of the Buddha, but not to live. He said, don't take poison because there is an antidote. So to move away from that way of thinking, but learn to see things simply as they are, to gain a sense of appreciation for what we share with one another as human beings, to be able to look more openly at our lives. The assurance of Amida Buddha allows us to do that. So the practice, again, of Jodo Shinshu is not something that I do in order to attain enlightenment. The practice comes from Amida Buddha, assuring me of the eventual resolution of difficulties. And I live my life with that sense of gratitude in all of the things that I may have been involved in all of the things that I may have done or not done. I am grateful that that too is affirmed and assured of eventual resolution of difficulties. I think Mr. McClure, in his talk about OBON, he was talking about something about come as you are. The term was sonomama, just as you are. In all of the imperfections, we are affirmed and assured of the resolution of difficulties through the compassion of Amida Buddha. That's our practice, the practice of gratitude. That's it. They said last question, so that, okay, are we done?
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone. We certainly appreciate you being here today, and please continue to be involved in your community, in your family, to participate together to make our lives more equitable, make our lives something that we can all be a part of equally. Again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yo, very good. Very good, guys.